Welcome to the Sales Acceleration Show. And I think, personal branding and thought leadership is one of my favorite topics. I actually wrote a book about it, but it shouldn't be only me. So I thought, why don't we ask some questions? So what is personal branding and what's the difference with thought leadership and executives? Do they need an own website? And how does it work with employees? And how on earth do you all combine that into one magical strategy? So I had to invite an expert, Ianka. I'm really happy you wanted to make time and come to the show. Before you say anything, because I heard some rumors in the background of my team that I dare to ask really strange, weird questions. We have this little thing. If you don't like it, you pop it.
Okay.
Ianka, tell our viewers, who are you? What do you do?
Okay.
It's going to be one of those episodes. Ianka, enlighten us.
Okay. So if you want to know all about me, just Google me. That's my first advice I could give you. I've been an actress for 30 years, but I've been a director, producer, writer, publisher, etc. So I'm a multi-talented person, and I use all these skills to become an expert in professional, a keynote speaker, personal branding and thought leadership. And that's what I'm doing now.
So I met you first while you were explaining keynote speakers, and I met you on events, several events actually. And one of the things that I noticed the last years, maybe months, years, I've seen you moving into the direction of personal branding, thought leadership.
Indeed.
And while before the camera went on, you said to me, Michael, there is a difference. So I'm very curious, what's the difference for you?
Between personal branding and thought leadership? Okay, so first of all, personal branding is not the same as being visible online. For me, that's a distinction as well. In order to become a thought leader, you have to really develop your thinking, your forward thinking, the way you vision the world, long-term thinking. So it's not enough to be a content creator, to be all the time online, everywhere. You have to have more than just a vision to tell.
You need to build models, structures, you have to have a vision.
Now that's what you wanted to be.
That's what I wanted to be. I was so happy I found a model and a vision, and I thought, well, that's thought leadership. And then I wrote a book explaining how you can become a thought leader. And then something very intriguing happened.
Okay, tell me.
There was a guy on Twitter who was a very smart person I really respect. He said, Michael, I think your flow, the way you look at it is pretty right, but the last part is not right. That's not true thought leadership. And I answered and said, I think you're right, actually.
And what was the last part?
Because I actually made the jump on if you're an opinion leader, so you start having opinions, all of that. And I said, well, if the news calls you and says, well, Facebook changed their name to Meta, then they phoned Steve van Bellingham, right? For me, that's a thought leader, right? And he said, no, it needs to be more than that.
Beyond that.
Beyond
indeed.
that.
Yes.
So I was wrong. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Sometimes, very rarely, I can be wrong. Now
they
dear
will call
team,
you.
I am never wrong for you, by the way, right?
They will call you when you're a personal brand.
Yes.
Because they need someone in their studio on the news that is known to a broad public. So that is what you need to become first, a personal brand. So you're recognizable, you've got sensible things to say, people can read you, can watch your films, etc. You tell them how to become XYZ, how to do XYZ, and then you're an expert. And when you're a professional, a personal brand as well, you're of interest for the media.
Your scale, your expertise,
Yes.
actually. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I look at the current state of business, one of the things that I notice all the time is that the persons that run a business are becoming personal brands, or they're pushing to become a personal brand because it's easier with the social media. You need to build all the content. So my question is then, should all the employees start doing that? How does this work for a company? If you look at a company, how would you advise them to move, to build, to become?
Yeah, I want to tell something first. You once said in one of your videos that it's very extraordinary that people want to brand themselves as companies. Experts want
true.
to brand themselves as companies. And that is the same thing I'm experiencing. But it's the other way around as well. Companies want to brand themselves as personal brands. So they want their CEOs and their employees to become personal brands. And that's correct as well. So that's...
But for me, I look at it from a pure sales point of view. And for me, sales is trust. So you want to scale trust digitally, and you can scale.
People want to buy from people, not from brands.
Well, exactly. So that's the whole point. Although I see a lot of companies now overdoing it. I sometimes get really nervous, like I'm on television watching publicity, like, oh man, I really don't buy it. I really don't believe it. But that's ads, commercials, right? So again, back to the question. If I'm a company, I need to do this. I don't need to do this. Is it important for me? How should I do it? What would be your advice? How do you look at things?
First of all, you have to make from your employees ambassadors, evangelists of the company. You cannot make them...
All of them?
No. Why should they?
Good question. Yeah,
No, I don't
but
think so.
Michael, that guy doesn't want to do it. Yeah, then
Yeah.
don't ask him. That's no
Then don't
problem.
ask him.
Yeah,
Maybe
voilà.
he's not the best part to do that. Maybe he's an awful writer. Maybe he's got nothing to tell. Maybe people just don't like him. He's just good at his job, but that's it. So you don't want him to be a face of the company. And it's okay. It's fine if people don't want to do that. It's a job after all. It's not their company. So first of all, they have to feel happy at the place they're working. Agree?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
But
Can I also press this button if I get scared?
Yes, you can. Yes,
Thank
you
you.
can.
Thank
But
you, Ianka.
The most interesting thing is how many CEOs are afraid of personal branding.
A lot of them.
Most of them.
Yeah,
They're
it's
shit to
actually
death.
true.
Yes.
I actually claim that every CEO, every executive in a company should have a personal website.
Yeah.
Because and then they get scared, saying, Michael, this is crazy. No. In order for you to do it, one, you need to be known, you need to be visible, which is clear, it will bring you more business, but also, you don't realize, but you can control the narrative for a part.
Yeah, but they are afraid to become the narrative.
But in most cases, they are the narrative. That's the whole point. Or am I wrong?
Well, I wish. I wish.
Now you need to say, yes,
No.
Michael, yes.
No, I wish they were. But a couple of weeks ago, I met someone. Now the Elon Musk Twitter thing has slowed down. Finally. But a friend of mine just got a company car, and he has chosen for another brand. And we asked him, why did you choose for the Tesla? And he said, with a CEO like that, no, I don't want to have a Tesla right now. So, okay, do you know what the CEO of the other brand is doing? Do you know what his opinions are?
Probably not.
Do you know who the CEO of the brand is? No.
But yet you bought. Yeah.
But yet he. So it's very awkward for me. I don't understand why CEOs don't want to become the personal brand of the company. Even more, I don't understand why they don't want to become a thought leader themselves. Because I think that is necessary for every CEO. If you really believe in your brand and in your company, you should become a personal brand and you should become a thought leader.
I also think it's the only way for sales. By the way, not even to mention marketing, to start moving and getting actually more business.
What for me is very, very interesting, and probably for you as well too, is the whole ChatGPT stuff thing, the hype, and my LinkedIn feed, as I'm following a lot of LinkedIn personalities, influencers, etc. It's all about AI constantly. I think I have to quit my job and just study.
Talking about ChatGPT, I was waiting for it. We have the fun part of the show, the animation part, so you can turn the wheel.
Okay.
We have asked ChatGPT to make questions specially for you. You're gonna take a number, and then randomly, the team will read you a question. Turn the wheel of fortune, Ianka.
Can I eat them as well? Because
No, I'm really sorry, but we do have chocolates all over the place.
Yeah, if I'm a good girl, I get the chocolate.
I think. Yes,
Can I
you
turn
can.
the wheel?
Hang on.
Okay. Number 33. 33. 32. Non, 33. 33. 33. En dan is mentale genie op. Dramatisch.
Okay, the question.
Okay.
So the question, 33.
Yes?
If you could switch personal brands with anyone, who would it be and why? Who inspires you?
Well, I think I want to change places with Reese Witherspoon.
That's intriguing.
Yeah.
Why?
Because she's such a clever woman. What she is doing with her Hello Sunshine thing, she's got such a clever business model. Unbelievable.
Hello?
Reese Witherspoon.
Hello?
Legally Blonde.
Ah, yeah, I know.
The girl
this.
who plays
I
the
know
pink
this.
Legally Blonde thing.
I watch
everybody
movies all the time.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And you think, what? Just one of those actors. But she's such a clever girl. Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, as a professional moderator, and I love questions. Can I ask you a question?
I'm ready for it. Ianka, give it to me.
So, since you've written your first book, how is your view on thought leadership and personal branding changed?
So the one thing I realized is you always need an element of quantity. That's something most people completely underestimate. They do one thing and they think too much. I also think that quality in lots of cases is really overrated because, for instance, if you post something on LinkedIn, only 4 to 7%, and because of their overthinking, over-perfecting what they're doing, they're no longer genuine and they're no longer efficient. So that's one element.
Yeah.
Two, I also think that it takes time to figure out how you want to be. And I knew what I didn't want to be, but I never knew what I wanted to be. So it took a long time for me to figure out how can I get as close as possible to the real Michael, the one at home. But of course you put a little protection layer around it. So certain things you do not, I never talk about private stuff and all that stuff, no cars and no houses. And so I try to stay away from it. So that's very, very personally. Two, for a company, I think it's especially looking into the way the technology is evolving, metaverse, the Web3, without saying hype words. But I truly believe that there is no escape on content. There is no escape on personal branding. And for me, one of the big building blocks of sales is have a personal brand.
Yeah.
And then figure out how it works and scale it.
Yeah.
But there is one danger. I see that I have a very strong personal brand in sales. That was a goal. If you think sales, you can't go around Michael. That was still the idea. Although at 80% or 85% of my business is charismatic, which is content machine, building content, all of that. People don't get it. So it means I'm doing something wrong. It means it's not very clear, but I love sales. My brand is I like to talk about sales. I like to think about there is a conflict sometimes.
Yeah, but you have to kind of rebrand. It's the same what I had to do when I'll forever ever I will stay the actor.
Yeah.
And it speaks to my advantage, but against it as well.
Yeah.
So I have to deal with it. How am I changing that? How am I rebranding myself? How am I using the skills that are needed for my new thing?
So what are the classic, the common mistakes you see people making? I mean, one of them being an executive, no, I don't want a personal brand, all of that, which for me is clearly a no-go. But what are other things that you say?
Common mistakes I see is they want to imitate their role models.
Yes, that's a very good one.
Who's your role model? It started with a G and it ended with a.
So 5 years ago, I met Gary Vee, and actually he was the guy.
Told ya.
He was the guy. So I literally the first 2-3 months I copied him.
Yes.
And then I realized, but I'm not him. This is a New York guy with a slang and all of that. So, but I still have energy levels like the guy.
Yeah.
But I stopped swearing, and I'm less swearing. Sorry, team, I still do it. But I really changed it, and it also takes time to discover who you are and how do you want to portray it. So it took time, but I changed. But you're right, absolutely.
That's something I noticed immediately. Who the role model is.
Not anymore, I hope.
Well, I think you can still fine-tune your style, especially.
Getting advice.
When you're
finally.
No, okay, I'm stopped getting advice. Anyway,
write it down.
I thought I was in the briefing. You can give me advice if you want to.
Yeah, we're not filming now. It's still the briefing actually. So I know what questions to ask.
Anyway, talking about Gary Vee, I met him the first time he came to Belgium. I worked with him.
Yeah.
He came to Belgium for the first tech conference that was held in Ghent, and at the time it was 2011, and at the time he was promoting Tumblr.
Ah, yeah.
And
oh God, yeah.
Yeah,
true.
it was really way back, and I was the moderator, the host of the event, because I was seen as the geek internet celebrity at the time, because I just published the first interactive children's book for
That's one of the questions
iPad.
we should not ask Ianka. Yeah.
But I'm telling it myself in a context which is relevant for the question. So, and I met him at the time, and I thought, at that point, what is he?
He had a very arrogant...
He was so arrogant. He didn't know what to do with women. So he ignored me. He never dared to look me in the eyes. And I was really thinking, what the hell? What is this? So I started following him, and I must say, I still don't know if he really is arrogant or not, but he's consistent in how he is.
Yeah, sure.
And he doesn't even care if you like him or not. And that is, for me, he's a very good example of a personal brand. Because most people see personal brand as you have to have a professional photo shoot, you have to have these beautiful colors which make you recognizable in everything you do, etc. And that's bollocks, it's not. Mm-hmm. He uses everything, and all his posts mostly are ugly. The visuals are ugly.
It's a very large media company.
Yeah, but because that's not the main point. The main point that he chooses his style, the way he wants to communicate, and he's consistent at it. Mm-hmm. And that's the point.
True. I am so happy you wanted to come to the show, you came to the show, and I actually learned a few new things, which is always, it's rare, but I really, really liked it. So you're always welcome. If whoever can do something for you, you phone Michael. Really, thank you for coming.
It was my pleasure. There you go.
Thank you. Ik was de verkeerde aan het zien. Ik was in alle richtingen. Wacht, hè. Ianka, tell our... Ik moet naar de dienen zien. Ja, sorry. Jij moet naar de dienen zien. Ianka.
Are you nervous?
Ja, ik het zo lekker. You know why?
I
You
think
know why?
you're a bit
Because
intimidated.
yes, because you're watching me,
Yes.
and I'm thinking, okay.
Yeah.